My nigga William H.
You mean
Larry H.
You said
Okay,
William.
here she go.
Okay. Open it. Open the
Oh,
door.
I locked it. I locked it.
Open the door.
You rolling dolo?
Yeah, rolling dolo.
What's up? Come on,
You got your people out there?
Dolo.
Oh.
Got work to do.
Let you get set up first.
Okay. Three. Two.
Welcome to another edition of the Headline Eye. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner, and the H stands for one hell of a day. I mean, a hell of a day right now. But it is 48 degrees here in the city of Cleveland on this March 3rd, 2021. At this particular point in time, I have my guest here, and I am here. Co-host is going to be, first of all, I got to give a congratulations to the Queen with the Gold, Mike J. Price, being the newest member of the executive board in Ashtabula County and doing like the housing board. And so the thing about it is like she's doing great things. We make stars around here on www.wnrv1081.com where we get on your Nerve DJs Network. Also, you can check my Facebook Live out. Also, Facebook Live out of Johnny Orton on DJ Johnny O. And make sure that you do that. And also, you can call in at 216-249-6658 because we got some very interesting things coming up as far as races, as far as everything else. So yeah, that was the entrance of everything. So the Headline Eye is approaching its the inaugural. And we're coming down to the wire, actually, as far as this coronavirus thing and everything else like that. Actually, Johnson & Johnson is making a vaccine, actually, along with Pfizer and Moderna, who's already have theirs out for the coronavirus. So we are patiently waiting. President Biden said since it would be pushed up as far as everybody having access to vaccines in May or June. I think June was the opportunity. It was like 3 months faster than it was predicted as far as close to being in September and October. So we still have a lot of things going for us and a lot of things going in that nature. The stimulus bill of 100.9 trillion passed. That meant in the House, just waiting for the Senate. That would include the $1,400 stimulus checks at this particular time. Listen, I want my money. I don't care. I want my money. I don't care who knows it, who doesn't know it. I want my money for real, for real. I do, however, have a sad note. The advisor to President Bill Clinton, Vernon Jordan, political insider, African-American man, passed away last night, this past week. So, yeah, Vernon Jordan passed away. So we have it's when you have somebody who has influenced presidential elections like Mr. Jordan, then, and respected African-American man, when he passes on, it's time for somebody to take the mantle, to step up and do whatever. Speaking of taking the mantle and stepping up and doing whatever, unfortunately, we have some crazy news. The state of Texas and the state of Mississippi have lifted the mandatory mask mandates in their states and pretty much wants everything to open up. Now, listen, we are still in a pandemic. Not everybody has gotten a vaccine. So they're taking this is my opinion, they're taking a big risk. And hopefully Ohio, Governor DeWine doesn't follow suit on that particular. Yeah, don't follow suit on this particular adage that Texas and Mississippi are doing. And speaking of the Longhorn State and the Mississippi and my cricket letter, you already know the rest. I'm not probably visiting them anytime soon, and I don't have any family there. So yeah, I'm avoiding y'all like the plague that y'all about that's already in place. I'm avoiding y'all like I'm trying to avoid this coronavirus for real. So yeah, you can't, you can't do that. So now that we have this, and yes, when I talked about the headline eye and things of that nature, I am throwing somebody to the lions today. That is well deserved. This person needs to go. Like, I got two people. So you're just going to have to wait to the end. And also, I am featuring on break local Cleveland artists. Some you heard of, some you haven't. And to make sure that to put these songs on the air for you, if you have something, send it over to my email, to Nerve DJs Network email, to put it on headline I, Larry H. Gardner, or send it to my email. My email is larrygardner3131@gmail.com. That is my personal email. Please do not send me any spam. Otherwise, it will get deleted. Thank you. I do not want no more spam. I got to give a couple of shout outs. Last week, shout out to Billy O. Sharp and Colin Jackson, and shout out to Billy O. Sharp's preview of his movie and things of that nature. Shout out to him and Colin. So, for coming in last week. But this is political season. We do have also shout out to Councilman Blaine Griffin for his meet and greet at Unbar over there on Lodgemere. I stopped there. But, like I said, this is political season, and we have people running, and it's always going to be somebody who's going to be running or an established person running as far as an incumbent on that. So, right now, I'm just letting her get everything together. She is in here. She's brought candidates here, things of that nature. And right now, she's in the house. So, Human T-Rex is on the ones and twos. So, Human T-Rex, please play the entrance music that was FedEx to you today. So, the reason I'm playing this song, this instrumental, Little Kim said, put your lighters up. Right about now, we got a new face in the city of Cleveland mayoral race. Please welcome none other than my friend right here. Please welcome Lady T. Latorya T. Witcher, mayoral candidate for the city of Cleveland. Hello.
What's going on, everyone? This is your girl, Lady T. City of Cleveland mayoral candidate for the 2021 general elections.
That's great. That's great. So, all right. So, shout out to everybody that's watching. First of all, like I said, 216-248-6658 is the number to call in, particularly people on my Facebook Live. Shout out to Lavelle, Dr. Richard Montgomery, Kevin Hurd, and Laura Cowan. And speaking of which, shout out to Dr. Montgomery. We're sending, glad that we're sending prayers out for you and your wife, and little Richie. Hopefully little Richie's doing well. So, all right, First Lady T, you've been first of all, you've been in the entertainment industry, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so just me, what in the world made you want to run for City of Cleveland mayor?
I mean, I don't just do music. I'm an all-around entrepreneur. And I have an organization. Everybody know BWE Entertainment, but a lot of people don't know about Black Women of Excellence. So, what inspired me to run was the factor of all, the stories that I was hearing in the community as a community activist. And, how our city is just, struggling and crying out and need one voice. So, you know me, Larry. I'm always going to try to go and shoot for the stars and try to make our people have one voice and try to take care of the community the way it should be taken care of. So, that's my true reason for running.
Okay, so first of all, speaking of running, and you did have a fundraising event over at Truth Nightclub. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the plaque. As you can see, is the plaque. The headline I is hanging
Most definitely.
Hanging.
It's well deserved in the community.
Right. It's hanging in the Nerve DJs Network studio. And thank you very much for that. I gotta thank you very much. So, what is the platform that you're running on as far as mayoral candidate?
I mean, I want to bring everybody together. You know, it's all about unity in the community. Having one voice to try to improve the situations in our city. You know, trying to get the people up and woke. And I mean everybody. So we can have better education. So we can have better community development projects. So we can battle the crime and violence within our city. The whole 9 yards. As well as, you know, as far as new and existing businesses. You know, teaching them and going back to the basics of trying to start a business over and do it to where it's profitable and it stay profitable. So, I mean, that's my platform, just, you know, trying to bring information and be aware, get people being aware of what's going on and coming together to have, you know, one voice.
Okay. So here's it. Now, you know I'm going to hit you with the stuff today. So, you
Go
know.
ahead.
All right. You just see, she said go ahead.
Go ahead.
She don't know what she's getting into. I'm just telling you right now. She probably already does because, you know, she brought Dwayne McGee here. So, yeah. So, the knock on, first of all, are you the only African-American woman in the race?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And pretty much you would be the first African-American woman if you were elected to be elected in the city of Cleveland if you pass every test. So why should the voters in Cleveland, Ohio vote for you to be mayor of the city of Cleveland?
Because it's time for the people to hear something real and it's about action. I believe that if I become mayor, I can lead the city back to greatness. Or at least try to bring it back to greatness so we can all have an understanding. Like I said, I mean, having the people to have a voice within their communities, within their council, and even their precinct, you know. So, I mean, I'm just out here, like I said, I'm just out here trying to bring everybody together to have one voice.
Okay. So you know that you have very stiff competition. And just like the 2017 mayoral race that was highly contested with 10 candidates in the primary, just about. So how would you get the African-American vote? Because mostly the majority of people who live in Cleveland are African-American.
I mean, I'm already doing it. I go out and I talk to people. I work at Jackson Hewitt on 57th in Detroit, so I'm actually being able to sit down and, you know, get that one-on-one with them and actually talking with the people and finding out, you know, plans and strategies and actually hearing their stories about what's going on. That's how I'm going to reach my people, actually going out here trying to do something and not just coming on when the cameras is out. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm in the streets just like everybody else. I just want to let the people know that I'm a regular person too, but I'm just trying to make a difference. Mm-hmm. So that's how I reach the black constituents, talking to them and relating to them on the issues and the problems that they have on a daily basis.
Okay. So you know you have the west side of Cleveland, you have the east side of Cleveland and downtown area. You realize that most of those areas are split. The east side feels like they're not getting enough. The west side feels like their downtown wants to be more improved. And the west side feels like that, you know, they're being ignored as far as mayoral candidates. So, and mostly the west is like a mix of people and genders. So how do you go to everyone to try to get them to vote for you, to gather votes? Not just from the African-American voters, because that's the main thing, but all the voters, because you got to deal with everybody.
I mean, like I said, it's just being real. It's time for the communities and the people to have something real, you know, and I just go up to them like a regular person. I am a regular person. And, you know, hey, my name is Lady T, and I'm running for City of Cleveland mayor. You know, I'm trying to make a difference in our communities. What are your thoughts? What are your, you know, what do you want to see? Because it's all about asking the people questions to get a better balance between east side, west side, as well as downtown.
Okay. And you know that you have the majority of people who are running being African-American, and you are running up against some stiff competition. So how would you stand out above the rest of those candidates?
I mean, one, this will be my first political run ever. So that's one compared to my the other constituents. My background, you know, I do own a business. I have a business degree. But like I said, I've never been in politics. So that really just like stands out in the factor of I'm a woman and I embrace women empowerment. That's another thing that will stand out with me.
Okay. So pretty much, let's stick to those particular as far as women empowerment. A lot of women feel like that they have been ignored in this city. So how would you reach out to them, like the League of Women Voters and those women organizations, domestic violence issues, things of that nature? How would you reach out to them?
Coming together and just asking them, like, what do you need? What do you need as a mayoral candidate? What do you expect from me? You know, what do you expect from your city? You know, how can we have a voice? You know, and actually stand firm in our beliefs and what we are trying to do as women and come collectively as one, because we are queens.
Okay. So as that's great empowerment. Thing is that you know the East Side feels like it's been ignored by by City Hall. How would you get those people on the East Side to vote for you? And the thing about it is that we have voter apathy. How do you get those people who haven't voted because they feel like that things haven't changed in the city to vote in this race, particularly vote for you?
Because basically, when I go up to them, like I said, I want to hear from you, the voice. Because if the East Side is not getting treated fairly or what may have you, I'm going to write that down. Like, hey, you know, and help build a strategy. I'm going to go and let them know about their precinct committee people, because there's not a lot of people that know about precinct committee members. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't know between the East and the West is 104 precinct committee people in their area. Getting them involved, you know, going out to the residents and asking them questions. You know, that's how I'm going to communicate with them. And like I said, writing down strategies and writing down their ideas, because this is our city. It's about us.
Okay. So as far as that, now you have to deal with, now we did have, I said last week I reported, there was an indictment against a councilman of Ward 4 in Cleveland City Council. There's been other problems with communication between the mayor and Cleveland City Council in the past. If you are elected, how would you get everyone on one accord as far as the leadership in the city, the precinct committee people in city, and the elected officials of city council?
We got to start building trust. You know, the communities have lost trust in our city politicians. So, again, having those city politicians, those councilmen, those precinct committee people, the local community activists, known and unknown, getting out there and actually stepping up to do what they need to do in the community so that people can have a voice. Okay.
Now, the thing about it is that we have people that, you know, what about the balance of the grant dollars? And I'm probably sounding like my co-host here a little bit. As far as the community grant block dollars, those things of that nature. I mean, there is a budget. Last time I checked, $721 million comes into the city. How would you balance that out so that everybody can get a piece of the pie and get stuff done in the city of Cleveland?
It starts with structure. In order for you to know where everything is going, every city council or every precinct committee person will have to come together to really find out the needs within their communities, so the funds can be distributed properly and where it needs to be, and how it's going to be beneficial to the community.
Okay, so you have to deal with a couple of organizations. You have to deal with the activist organization, the churches, the AfricanAmerican churches, and you have to deal with the unions. How do you go about dealing with those organizations that do have some control of the vote here in the city of Cleveland?
I mean, as far as the pastors, I come from a Christianly background. So, I mean, it's all about trying to restore the faith within the pastors to let them know, like, you know, we can do this together. As far as the other organizations, I want to hear from them, get them all collectively together and see what they need. Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's all about a need thing, Larry. Like, our city is crying out. We got almost 100, from what I checked, 177 homicides was reported, you know, and in the first week of January of 2021, it was 15 homicides. You know, our cities are crying and are concerned about what's going on in their community. So, my whole thing is having one voice, actually having the people listen, the politicians listen to what the community needs, because we got to live here every day. You know, we got to go through the struggles and the battles every day, just like the next person. So, Why can I listen to another person's strategies and plans? And how about teaching them self-investment within their communities?
Okay. Now, let's go to the corporations. The Cleveland, how would you deal with Cleveland Clinic, University Hospital, who wants to land develop? How would you also deal with, we have 3 major sports franchises, the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Indians, the Cleveland Cavaliers, those owners, those billionaire owners. How would you deal with those people who sit in positions of power to help change the aspect of the city of Cleveland while getting everybody involved, pretty much getting the streets fixed, lower crime, and as far as healthcare?
Well, I'm dealing with them coming up with a strategic plan to where everybody is not always happy, but somewhat happy within these major franchises, because they do play a major part within our city. So, and trying to get them to be, actively community involved, throughout, what they do within sports, and Cleveland Clinic, bringing more people to understand the coronavirus and the vaccine and this stuff, providing resources. That's where I would need help, as far as the major franchises, and just sitting down with them and strategizing so we can bring in more so people can understand, everybody's position in the situation at hand. Okay,
so Dr. Richard Montgomery brought one on my Facebook. I knew you probably going to call in later, Doc, so I'm just waiting for that. If you're the executive, how do you determine where the projects go when everyone is saying that they have needs? Pretty much, how do you determine where the money goes? Because, even, as being in entertainment, everybody's not going to be happy with a certain amount of percentage of what they make.
People are never going to be happy at anything. Let's keep it all the way 100 gutted. And nobody's going to ever be really happy, but it starts with an outline on paper. So we're sitting down to reread, like, okay, this is what's needed. This is the percentage of what's needed. This is where the funding need to go. This is how much funding need to go. It all starts within an outline. You just can't go up to somebody and be like, oh, I want to start a project. And I'd be like, here you go. It takes steps. It takes procedures to seeing how serious an individual is, or a business is, or a corporation is.
Okay. So, like I said before, we're dealing with a health pandemic, which the likes that we've never seen before, seen before in my lifetime. I mean, I was not born with the flu hit in 1918 and was wiping out a whole bunch of people. Over 500,000 Americans passed away because of the coronavirus. And we have 2 states, Texas and Mississippi, that have decided not to have mask mandates, but to open back up. How do you deal with that, communicating with the governor's office in Ohio if something happens in Ohio where some stuff has been lifted, some bans have been lifted as far as restaurants and bars, so they can stay open until closing, but as long as social distancing and mask mandates? How do you deal with the social distancing and the mask mandates, and to keep everybody safe in the city of Cleveland, where nobody is sick or they can get proper health care, if you were mayor?
Having someone or, a team of people to go into these restaurants and bars to make sure that these requirements are followed through. I think that's why some of these restaurants and stuff were getting fined and were getting hit, because nobody was going in there to check to make sure that, proper protocol was done. Holding businesses that don't follow these mandates, hold them responsible and accountable if they're not following the requirements at hand. So, to balance out social distancing and the spread or what may have you, when we go into these places, we still have to promote and still have to go forth with social distancing requirement laws until we find a proper cure.
All right. We do have a phone call. Hello? Caller, are you there? You're on the headline eye with Larry H. Gardner, guest Lady T. I should have known you was coming. Dr. Richard Montgomery, how are you? I should have known. I had a feeling, an inkling. So, you have a question for Lady T.
It's 1.85 million. Billion, I'm sorry, billion.
governor, being a Republican, is probably going to follow suit with the other states like Mississippi and Texas, who decided to fully open up the mask. As the mayor of the city, looking at the science, you recognize that some of these COVID variants are just, they're not more contagious, and we don't have any vaccines that are going to be able to address them. Would you, as mayor, require there be a mask mandate in the city of Cleveland?
Yes, because safety and our health is very important. I would require that. And like I said, in the previous question, holding these people responsible that are not following the mandate because they're spreading a virus that's killing billions and trillions of people. So, I mean, the man as mayor, yes, I would, make that a requirement and a very high priority.
Okay. So, second question. I'm on a roll here. So, Larry mentioned the issue of the West Side feelings about being advocated for versus the East Side feelings being advocated for from mayoral candidates. And what we have seen is tremendous growth in investment in downtown. Would you, as mayor, create a platform for these 14 and these major corporations to spread the investment wealth in those corridors that lead that downtown, like the 55th and Woodland area and up the other directions going towards the, I think that's west. Whichever goes to downtown Pacific Heights, whatever direction.
Yeah, that's east.
Okay, so you get off the wrong exit on 55th and run into Woodland Avenue when you go downtown and take one more exit and it looks like, fairy tale land. Would you create a platform for those businesses to invest going down that corridor? Because I think that when we look at where investment goes, we make sure that there's a great entertainment district. But what about the folks who live in the city that are right next to downtown but still haven't seen any investment?
I mean, that would be my whole platform because of the simple factor that the communities within outside of downtown, those are where we having the most problems at. That's where the communities look bad. Getting these major corporations to invest in the small communities, that's important to me. Because you're right, Dr. Montgomery. When you go downtown, it look like a fairy tale land. But if you get off on 55th, you like what happened. So it's like the investments should be back into the communities to make them better.
Okay. Well, that's it. Because I thought the story, I had probably a little hard time.
That's all right. That's all right. I told you I'm always ready.
Well, I know her heart is so. For me, I think it's important to have all the folks who believe in this city to participate in this process.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to see that she's doing the way that she's doing for it.
Thank you, Dr. Montgomery.
All right, I'm saying a prayer for little Richie. How's he doing? So he's okay. Tell Richie I and my son Jalen says hello as well. Jalen is doing virtual and everything, so I'll just let him know that it's hi, and I hope he's feeling better. And Dr. Montgomery, blessings to you and your wife, and tell Mrs. Montgomery, the head of the household, I said hello as well. I need that book. I need that book. I need that book. Whatever she wrote, I want to read it.
Facebook, but she is a writer, and she got all her degrees in literature and English. And she said, you know, when I look for a book that talks about the experience of being a black mother of a child with a disability, there are no books out there.
That is true.
A couple other mothers are also moms who have children with disabilities, and they have written the first book of its kind about being a mom of a child with a disability and the journey of being a black woman. So I will make sure you get a copy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Blessings to you. Blessings to everybody. We're about to take our first intermission, our first break in a minute. Before we do that, Ms. Witcher, can people donate to your campaign, and how can they contact you if they want to volunteer for it?
You can, as far as Cash App, you can go to $BWE, lowercase nt 2012. That's the Cash App for One Voice. You can also call me. I always like calls, so call me and just let me know you would like to, contribute or donate.
You have a telephone number for the people?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Just get it. Oh, like you want to bring it, you want to say it down?
You can call 216-235-8167. That's my personal line. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is MZTZ32, and Latorya T. Witcher is actually my personal Facebook, and you can go on Facebook at One Voice 216 on my page.
All right. So we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to ask her about the crime in this city and the corruption in city council, which I touched on. So we're going to play a little bit. I said we playing Cleveland classics. I Done Came Down with Fat Al is one of my favorite songs. So this is it. We'll be right back with the headline. We'll be right back.
I came down.